Welcome back. Today is day 6, final day, guys. You're almost there. Today will be more review. Today we'll talk more about alcohol again, and impaired driving, and drowsy driving, things of that nature. However, I'm going to start today off with a movie, or not really a movie. It's a reenactment of. This company goes around, films, and goes to different high schools and does this like a tragedy or whatever. Uh, this one gives you start to finish, even though it's California. This one's one of the better reenactments to let you see from start to finish. Uh, some of the things, there will be a few minutes I'll skip through. It's just stuff that doesn't really pertain to anything. It's nothing major. I'll skip a few minutes just to speed things along. This, like I said, this is one of the better reenactments. It's not Hollywood actors, okay? So if you see things that possibly that I think they get the kids involved as far as the students and the real police and the real fire trucks and things like that, firemen. So yeah, I really want you to watch this. At the end, I'll come back to you, and there's some questions I want to ask, and I want to challenge you to think, because there's certain moments here that you could possibly prevent this happening, and I want to go back to you on that. So today we'll watch that. We'll do the other video, PowerPoints, and like we normally do, and then we'll allot some time for Kahoot again and drivingtest.org, and then at the very last thing, I'd like for you to take the final exam. Okay, this is for real. The last time was practice. Same as what we talked about earlier. This final exam and this particular answer key. Okay, if you can, I'll leave a description where you find the handbook. I'll email all the participants in this class the exam and the answer sheet. Okay, be sure to write your name on it. Write test A or test B, and I'll grade them afterwards and email you the grades if you want me to. And that's it. That's the driving part of it, the classroom part. Keep in mind, until this stay-at-home order is lifted, we cannot drive yet. Those of you driving with me, please be patient. There's a lot of students in the same situation you're in. I'll do my best to get through as many as we can. Okay. If you're from another state or another out area, thank you for staying with us. This will give you a great opportunity to pass your state's exams, or if you're in North Carolina, your driver's ed exam. Now, please keep in mind the exam that I email you. Okay, this is for the course. This is not your DMV exam. Okay, when you go, remember the very first video, I think it was, I told you gotta get your paperwork all together, and then you go to the DMV. You'll take a written. North Carolina will give you a written test. It's totally different from this one. It's similar kind of questions. It'll help you pass. Okay, but just keep in mind there are different versions of the DMV test. So, for example, if there's 3 of you sitting at the same time taking your test at the DMV's office, you may have 3 different versions. Okay, they won't let us know what tests or what version you have. It's just random. Okay, so if you're hearing this and you're out of state or you're in state, and your examiner, or your not examiner, your instructor says, well, this chances are this is on the exam. We know kind of what to teach, what will be on the exam, but we don't know exactly what number 16 is or what the answer for number 18 or whatever the case may be. Remember, on my exam, you have to have an 85 or better to pass. Okay? So, excuse me. So do your best, put forth the effort you need to pass this class. If for some reason students who do not pass, you have to take this course from start to finish again. Okay? So you're really only prolonging you getting your permit. The people in your class may be a few months ahead of you because of you failing this part of the test. Okay? So don't fail it. It's easy to pass. Okay? You've got the information in front of you. I know you guys are intelligent and you'll do really well. So let me set up the camera so we can watch this video. It's a good one. Like I said, there's parts in it that hopefully you'll spot to where you, if you're in this situation, you can prevent it. You can prevent it happening to you or to a friend or to a loved one. Okay? This is why I show this video or reenactment, so that you can kind of see, oh, hey, I can prevent things, and you most certainly can. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Alright, we're almost ready to start the video. Like I said, this is a good reenactment and hopefully you'll learn something from it, and it's about an hour long, even with me skipping some parts. I told you I'd skip some. It's still close to an hour. Feel free to watch it more than once, and hopefully you'll be able to learn a few things, maybe spot a few things that you could possibly prevent something like this happening to a friend, to yourself, or to a loved one.
Somebody just flew out of the windshield. There's somebody on the car, on the hood of the car. the morning?
On Bush.
And what's the vehicle look like?
I'm sorry?
What kind of vehicles are they? What colors?
I can't tell. It's just one of them looks like a Chrysler, and I can't tell what the other one is.
Okay.
There's a lot of glass, and there's a lot of blood.
Okay. Your name?
This is Valerie. They're not moving.
Okay, Valerie.
They're not moving.
And what's your contact number, Valerie?
924-9574.
9574. Okay, all right. We will get Siren Ambulance headed that way.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Oh my god, oh my god. Are you okay? Oh my god. Chris, oh my god. Bryce, Bryce. Are you good, Bryce? Are you okay? Bryce. Where are you going? Chris, no! Chris! Chris, are you okay? Oh my god. Where are you going? Going to a what party? Were you guys drinking? Shouldn't you known already? It's your fault! You were just going home! You were just going home! We're just going home. I'm sorry. Chris. Bryce. Bryce.
Ma'am, are you okay?
He's not
Are you okay?
reacting.
All right, do me a favor, just please stand over here. Are you hurt or injured?
Christian,
Okay, just do me a favor, just please stand right there, okay? Ma'am, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you
He's
hurt or
not
injured?
reacting. No,
Okay,
I'm fine. He's
do
not
me a favor, just stand by right here, okay? What you got out there?
No, leave me alone. I was just going home. I was just going home. We're just going home.
Okay, were you driving this vehicle? Which vehicle were you driving? That one over there? Okay. Where were you sitting at, ma'am?
Right.
Oh, which vehicle, ma'am?
This vehicle, we're just taking me home.
Okay. Let me see your arm. Okay. Just make sure you just stay there, okay?
Okay.
Have you had anything to drink today, ma'am?
I know I should have waited for my mom, but
Okay. What is your
I
name?
want my mom to sleep.
Okay. All right. Why don't you do me a favor? Come stand over here for me, please. I want to do some tests just to make sure that you haven't been driving under the influence of alcohol, okay? You said you haven't been drinking, right? Okay. What have you been drinking?
He asked if I wanted to ride home, and I said yeah.
Okay. Shots of
I
what?
had called my mom. Some hair, a little bit of body color.
Okay. So the first test I want you to go ahead and do is just put your right foot in front of your left. Okay. Put your hands to your side. Okay. So you'll start something like this. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you get to 9. Go ahead and start. Hey guys, can you help me out with the wrist?
4,
Journey? What happened here?
9,
Okay. You want to return? Do 9 steps back.
You know where you're at right now? No worries, don't move your head at all. Can I get someone to hold T-spine on? Can you hold T-spine on him too, yes, please? Where's that helicopter going to land? Where's it going to land? Good deal. Alright.
Okay. So what I want you to go ahead and do is just stand here for me, ma'am.
my arm.
Okay. Go ahead and do right.
Alright, watch
Okay.
the
Go ahead and do left. And go ahead and do left. Okay. Just do me a favor, just go ahead and relax here. I'm gonna go to my car. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so go ahead and take a deep breath. And go ahead and blow until I tell you to stop. Harder. There you go. Okay. So, ma'am, based on your alcohol content, you're telling me that you've been drinking today, your symptoms and your test, I believe that you are under the influence of alcohol. Go ahead and face that way. Put your hands behind your back for me. You are being placed under arrest.
It's gonna take a little while. We're gonna get a blood pressure on him. We're working on that side. Just one more cut? All right. You want me to move the seat forward so we can get the backboard right over the butt? There, backboard? Sounds good.
Go ahead and have a seat, ma'am. Watch your head.
Just going.
Underneath her. Actually, under her head. There it is. Lift up her hip a little bit, and then you can wedge that board underneath. Don't cut it yet. Okay, guys. So we're going to apply this one right here, alter mental status. Seems like there's some tension in the abdomen. Use my hand a little bit. And we got paralysis in there. We're going to get this on. Wasn't able to tell, but which hand do you write with?
My right hand.
We have one limb on the straps or whatever. We have a open fracture. All right, take it right. Here. Ma'am, are you awake? What's going on? Yeah, tell me what happened. Where are you hurting right now? Hurting where I'm feeling? Looks like you got a back contusion to the head, open skull fracture. Go ahead and put that on it.
I got tape right here. Put it on the board.
Can you just put the sticky side? Good thing that she has a pulse right now. All right. We weren't able to get a blood pressure before the extrication. We're going to put her on a helicopter right now so she can get flown out to the trauma center, okay? All right. Hold on. Wait. We're going to get this one underneath. You can see it? Yeah. Slowly. Let's jump in. All right, I'm going to give you some pain medication in the back of the ambulance. We're going to take good care of you. Your friends are doing okay for right now. There's a yellow handle right there. You just grab it with your good arm. I'll get him. We need to get moving. He's hurt bad.
Are you okay? God.
17-year-old female involved in the NBA, right front passenger, wearing a seatbelt, loss of consciousness upon impact. I'm get diminished lung sounds on the right side. Unable to obtain an IV. Salt pressure has dropped. Peripheral at about 70. We're gonna need probably 2 IVs. Unable to get it.
Okay, I got no pulse. She looks like she's going to be fit. First impression.
Got it? We'll go ahead with the EPI. Every 1 milligram again with a 10 cc flush. Okay. Go ahead, continue on with compassion. Go ahead and get ready to shot. Ready? You're clear. Clear and let it clear.
Clear.
Continue on with chest compression. In about 2 minutes, we'll take the last EPI. Go ahead and get ready to administer another dose of EPI right now. 1 milligram of EPI again. Right there. So nothing as far as pulse check.
I got nothing.
Got nothing? Ready to continue on the CPR. Clear.
There's round empty. Flush.
Clear, unclear, clear.
I got nothing.
They haven't been able to regain a pulse. We've done as far as what we can with shock, delivery of the epi. There's no beat whatsoever. Does anybody object to calling it at this time? Time. Turn out 14:48. Thank you, Brian. Here's your stuff now. I'm going to put you in here for now. I'm going to bring you out in like a minute or two once I get your mom on the phone, and I'll give you a 5-minute phone call if you're okay.
Okay.
All right.
Your daughter, Anne-Marie, was in a really, that accident was horrible. And we worked on her a long time and did everything possible. Really did. But the injuries that she sustained they were devastating. And I'm sorry to tell you that your daughter didn't make it. I'm very sorry. Do you have any questions? Is there anything else you can do? We did everything. We did CPR. We shocked her. We shocked her several times. We gave her every medication that we could possibly give her. And her injuries were devastating.
Said as far as at the scene, we were not able to as far as get a pulse. We did everything as far as to give her the medicine to start her heart here. We even shocked her 3 different times with no response. My apologies to you. Spend as much time as you need. Do you want me to call someone for you? No. Hi there. What do we got going on? What happened?
We were just partying.
Partying. So did you have something to drink tonight?
Yeah, I had a little.
A little. How much is a little?
I can't exactly remember.
You don't remember. Okay. So what's bothering you right now?
I can't feel my lower.
You can't feel your lower legs. You feel this? Feel this?
No.
Anything here? Anything here? How about as far as this right here? You feel
No.
anything touching?
No.
Nothing whatsoever.
No.
How about up here?
Yeah.
You feel this up here, but nothing down below. Okay. We'll go ahead and order as far as the CT x-rays. We'll get some as far as medicine, but let me go talk to your parents and let them know as far as that. I'll be right back. Family for fries? Yes, ma'am. Take on this label. Here, I'll get just a moment. Sounds to me like your son has a little bit of treatment. Unfortunately, he has sustained some pretty serious injuries, meaning he has a broken back and is paralyzed from the waist down. Take you this way, but you can stand a little bit further.
Okay.
As far as what I just started to see him, right now we still have him supported due to the injury he's had.
I know.
I guess you're not playing Friday now. Were you the front or the back?
Sorry. I didn't mean to. I just took a few drops and I thought I was fine. And we got in a car accident. And I don't know if Andrew's okay. I don't know. But I didn't mean to. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Did you turn into the car?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think it was bad. Who was in the car? It was me, Avery, and Bryce was in the back. Sorry.
Sorry, too. Find out tomorrow.
I don't know. I just had too much to drink. And then I got hit with the wheel.
Call us.
I didn't know what to do. I thought it was fine. But it wasn't me. I don't know. It's okay. I don't know.
You know not to drink.
I
And then
cannot-
get behind the wheel.
You, I can't believe you would make that decision.
Sorry, and your sibling, your college, or this can totally just destroy your life.
I don't know. I mean to.
Soccer, college, I mean, a lot's going to be affected by this. Family, you had great plans. You guys had great dreams.
You know, one mistake can change your whole life, your whole future, everything.
That was wrong. thinking and explaining to you. There's other families involved who've hurt, physically and emotionally hurt other people
And you're gonna live with that now.
for a long time.
Hopefully everybody's okay, Sandy, I don't know.
There was a crash this afternoon in front of Lamar TV, or Lamar High School, excuse me. And drunk driver was involved. Your son Chris was in one of the cars that was involved. And unfortunately, Chris did not survive the accident. He was killed on the scene. He was been transported here, and we're coroners getting this body ready so that we can make a positive identification. I'm very, very sorry for your loss. The car Chris was in was not involved in drunk driving. Those kids were all sober. Can you see me? The coroner's getting me in a position to where you can't see him. You won't be able to have a lot of contact with him. And I should prepare you because he died on the scene. He does have injuries and there is blood and they haven't been his body prepared. He won't look the way that you would imagine he would look for a funeral. It looks like a crash victim. It would be very traumatic. So I'm sorry about that as well. But step over here and tell me if this is Chris.
Death of innocence. I went to a party, Mom. I remembered what you said. You told me not to drink, Mom, so I drank soda instead. I really felt proud inside, Mom, the way you said I would. I didn't drink and drive, Mom, even though the others said I should. I know I did the right thing, Mom. I know you're always right. Now the party is finally ending, Mom, as everyone drives out of sight. As I got into my car, Mom, I know I'd get home in one piece, because the way you raised me, Mom, so responsible and sweet. I started to drive away, Mom, as I pulled onto the road. The other car didn't see me, Mom, and hit me like a load. As I lie here on the pavement, Mom, I hear the policeman say, the other guy is drunk, Mom, and now I'm the one who'll pay. I'm lying here dying, Mom. I wish you'd get here soon. How come this happened to me, Mom? My life burst like a balloon. There's blood all around me, Mom. Most of it is mine. I hear the paramedics say, Mom, I'll be dead in a short time. I just wanted to tell you, Mom, I swear I didn't drink. It was the others, Mom, the others that didn't think. He didn't know where he was going, Mom. He was at the same party as I. The only difference is, Mom, he drank and I will die. Why do people drink, Mom? It can ruin your whole life. I'm feeling sharp pains now, Mom. Pains just like a knife.
and friends. I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life I love them all, though I know.
Okay.
Hey, I got an audio. Let's go. All right, y'all have. Enjoy Dan.
For the sake of time, sorry, I'm messing the video up a little bit. For the sake of time and just the funeral part, the only thing we're missing in the funeral part is just the parents are talking a little bit about their student that they lost. But it's for the sake of time and for us to get through this course a little faster, I just decided to skip this and go straight to the trial part. The trial part, obviously, remember, it's in California, so North Carolina laws may be a little different as far as some of the things that they mentioned, but for most part, it pertains to here in North Carolina. Some of the sentencing part may be a little stricter, may not be as strict. I honestly don't know. So let's get to the trial part, and so we can finish out this video.
Good morning, Your Honor. William Perry of the William Perry Law Firm appearing with and on behalf of the minor Samantha C., who is present in court.
Keith Fagundes for the people.
All right, defendant, you need to stand to be arraigned for judgment. You stand. Ma'am, you stand convicted in count 1 of violating Penal Code Section 187, second-degree murder of Christopher Avalos. In count 2 of violating Penal Code Section 187, the second-degree murder of Anna Shale. Count 3 for violating Vehicle Code Section 23153, that is driving under the influence and causing injury to Bryce Aguilar and Maria Montoya Valdez. Mr. Perry, is there any legal cause why judgment should not now be pronounced?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may be seated. Mr. Perry, does the defense want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, we would. Your Honor, before the court is the minor Samantha, and we understand and are aware that the maximum sentence she could be facing here, and we assume that the people are going to be requesting, is a sentence of 41 years to life, given the terms of the charges she's been convicted of. She is keenly aware of that fact. We would request and respectfully submit to the court and ask that the court consider a lesser term, the mitigated term here, for the following reasons. Samantha is a 17-year-old girl. She has no prior record of any kind. She has never been in trouble a day in her life, either in school or with the law. This is a crime lacking in intent or any criminal sophistication. We understand intent is not the primary legislative factor here, but we feel it is important to raise a statement of mitigation. Samantha has a bright future ahead of her. She did until now. She is an honor student, the 3.7 above GPA. She's a letterman, soccer player. She is a member of the CSF and Jesus Club, FCA, many sports. She was intending to go to college, study broadcasting, and continue her soccer career at the collegiate level. Your Honor, we would submit to the court that the maximum sentence of 41 to life is not necessary to either punish or to rehabilitate Samantha adequately, that those means can be achieved amply by a lesser mitigated sentence for the reasons set forth as follows. This is absolutely a horrible tragedy. It's a terrible crime. And no one's more aware of that than Samantha. But what message are we sending by giving the maximum to a kid with no prior record, no intent, who made one really, really bad, dumb mistake? Is a message of one chance and you're done for the rest of your life in prison? Is that necessary to punish her, send a message, rehabilitate her? We would submit no. If she had a prior DUI or a prior record of some kind, then yeah, that would make more sense to punish her in a more stern manner. But she doesn't. She has a stellar record until now. Many lives have been forever altered. Lives have been lost, injuries told out, and those ripple effects don't just end with those 4 people. Their families, friends, loved ones also feel the pain. But Samantha and her family also feel the pain. And she still has a chance, if the court is inclined, to give her a lesser sentence, which the court has the authority and discretion to do, to come out with some life left to do good, to be a citizen, to be a force for good, and to perhaps atone for her terrible mistakes. And that's the chance we're asking the court to give her. She can still be a productive citizen if she gets out of prison at some point in her life with time to do so. At the end of the day, this is a young kid who made a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. People make mistakes, especially kids. But we need to remember that these were her friends too. Every minute of every day for the rest of her life, she has to live with this terrible mistake, this terrible lasting judgment for the rest of her life. And yes, she gets and we get that at least she still has a life. They don't. We understand. And no one is more sorry about that than she is. Maybe their parents, but Samantha gets it. And so, what's the rest of her life look like? She does have a life, but what's that form? What the form of her life is going to take? This court, the very experienced court, has a choice. The court can send a message of one mistake and you're done. The rest of your life in prison. Maximum, no second chances. Understandable, given the horrible consequences. However, this court can also send a different message. A message of hope, second chances. Sure, there must be punishment. There must be consequences. And there will be. And we're not suggesting that there shouldn't be. But there can also be a message of hope. We ask this court to give her a chance with a lower mitigated term and send a message that, yeah, you can make a terrible mistake, but one day you might have a chance to atone and make up for it and be a productive citizen. We're asking this court to give her the mitigated sentence, to give her that chance. And again, she understands that these victims never got that chance. Their parents never got a chance to say goodbye. She understands that. And no one is more remorseful than she is. And we need to remember, before she gets hauled away, and if you have the inclination to cheer or jeer her as she goes off, she's one of you. She's a kid too. These were her friends too. This could have been any one of you. Could have been any one of us. But she's a kid. She made a mistake. She's never been in trouble before. She's sorry, Your Honor. And these were her friends too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Mr. Fagundes, would the people like to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. The words we heard from Mr. Perry are too little too late, Your Honor. As he acknowledges, and I hope Sammy acknowledges, that Chris Avalos and Anne Marie Scaldi will never be able to ask for a second chance. Their parents will never get to turn back the clock and ask for that second chance. There's no worse fate in life than to bury your own child. There is certainly no worse fate in life than to have your mobility taken from you. There's no worse fate in life than to be maimed. People who choose to drink and drive in this day and age are murderers. That's why this is second-degree murder. It is black heart murder. It is having a clear indifference to human life. You have thousands of pounds of vehicle under your control when you are clearly impaired, driving down the road just to have some fun. That is selfish, it is senseless, and it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake at all. It is an intended act done out of selfishness. And as we hear the defendant now plea for a future that she denied others because of her selfishness, we have one thing at stake here, and that's accountability. This isn't about punishment and retribution. This isn't about making things right, because you can never tell this family that things will ever be right for them. This is about accountability. And yes, there are consequences for every single action and choice that we make in life. This was a deadly one for her. Anne Marie Scaldi wishes she could stand before you and plead for a second chance, but she can't. And Chris Avalos the same, as well as all the victims in this case. And I say all the victims because family members will forever remember this incident. And this incident, as we lawyers like to call it, is really a collision. It's an clearly intended act that never has any benefit for anyone. Your Honor, this case is not a case about if or when these deaths occur. We do these sentencings every single day in our courthouses across this country. More than 14,000 people a year die as a result of DUI collisions, which are completely avoidable. And as a side note, if you think about 15 years of war in the Middle East, we have not targeted that number in all those 15 years, but yet we hit it every single year in this country out of pure selfishness. The sentence imposed in this case, Your Honor, due to the second-degree murders involved, are mandatory sentences. And the court has very little discretion unless you're going to offer probation to this person. And probation falls far short of holding her accountable for her conduct, her choices, and her actions. When we say that this is not a question of if or when these things will happen, we know the fact that it happens every 15 minutes in this country. The real question here is who. And in this case, you can look to your right or to your left and see who the next victim will be of somebody's selfish decisions. So, Your Honor, although she's young, with a promising prior history that she might proclaim at this point, all the more reason why this certain circumstance here was completely avoidable. All of her years of upbringing, and I'm sure she has a great family, but her great family didn't prevent these deaths. She has to know that, yes, she will be held accountable. And people need to be held accountable for their conduct. We think it's completely appropriate, Your Honor, that you sentence the defendant to 15 to life for each death, as well as 3 years for the DUI, driving under the influence, as well as a multiple victim enhancement, as well as GBI enhancement for the broken leg, as well as paralysis enhancement, which puts us well above 41 to life. However, we understand legally we have to take the multiple victim out if we're going to get the great bodily injury. And so we are happy to let 3 years be a leniency to her in order to get the 8 years that she so badly deserves for injuring and maiming 2 people, as well as murdering 2 others. With that, we are asking for 41 to life, Your Honor, because it's really the fair sentence, and it's the only thing that will demand accountability in this case. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fagundes. I would note that the defendant is young. I am aware of that. That her crimes stem from the choice to drink at home before driving her friends to a party, a decision which led her to hitting a car driven by Christopher Avalos, who was driving Maria Valdez or giving Maria Valdez a ride home from the CSF function. The purpose of sentencing is to achieve justice. Justice is achieved by imposing consequences for our actions, which were appropriate to the defendant's criminal conduct and to the harm caused by that criminal conduct. The harm caused by this defendant's conduct is catastrophic. Chris Avalos is dead. He will never see his senior year in high school. He will never play water polo again. He will not attend college, and he will not spend another day, not one moment, with his brother Ethan or his sister Desiree. Hannah Shald is dead. She will not see her senior year in high school. She will not sing in the choir or play another minute of volleyball. And she will not attend the University of California at Santa Cruz to study law. And she will not spend another moment with her sister Elizabeth or her brother Will. Neither of their parents will have the opportunity to see their children grow into adults, to watch them marry, have children, and grow up. They will not understand the joy of grandchildren because of your actions. Bryce Aguilar was a 3-sport athlete who no longer has the use of his legs. He is confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, a sentence for which he does not have parole. Maria Valdez suffered a broken arm, but far worse, she will live with the memory for the rest of her life that Chris Avalos was only in the area of your driving because he was giving her a ride home. And because of that kind act, he is dead. Probation would allow you to enjoy the very life that you have selfishly taken from Christopher Avalos and Anna Shelby, and to enjoy the life that you have destroyed for Bryce Aguilar and Maria Valdez. That is not justice, and that is not consequences appropriate to your conduct. Mr. Perry, you asked what message we can send. The message we can send is that there are consequences for decision. Driving under the influence of alcohol is not an accident, it is a choice. Driving under the influence is a danger to society. We can send that message. And we can send a message that when you choose to drive under the influence and you kill somebody, we will remove you from society to protect society. Ms. Chedester, stand. In count 1, for the second-degree murder of Christopher Avalos, I sentence you to 15 years to life in the State Department of Corrections. In count 2, for the second-degree murder of Ann Schell, I sentence you to a consecutive sentence of 15 to life in the state prison in the California Department of Corrections. For count 3, the violation of Vehicle Code Section 23153, driving while under the influence, causing injury to Bryce Aguilar and Maria Valdez, I sentence you to a consecutive term of 3 years in the California Department of Corrections. For leaving Mr. Aguilar paralyzed, I sentence you to a consecutive term of 5 years in the state prison. And for causing great bodily injury to Maria Valdez, I sentence you a consecutive term of 3 years in the Department of Corrections. You have an aggregate term of 41 years to life in the state prison. You must serve 41 calendar years before you may request the Department of Corrections to schedule a parole hearing. You will be 59 years old before you may ask to have a parole hearing. With that, you are remanded in the California Department of Corrections at Chowchilla to serve out your term. Bailiff, remove the prisoner. With that, court is adjourned.
Yeah, hopefully you saw some signs that you could prevent this happening to your loved ones, to your friends, co-workers, whatever the case may be. One particular sign I saw pretty early on was when they were at the person's house, whoever it was, and they were enjoying themselves. And as they were going to the car, the girl who passed away asked the driver, she said, "Are you okay?" And that moment in time, what if the driver would have said, probably not a good idea, I've been drinking a good bit, it's probably not a good idea to drink and drive. What if she had just stopped herself and said, let's don't do this. Let's stay here, have a good time, whatever. I'm not, down in any one way. But what if, two people would be alive still. Our best friend would be still alive. Of course, the young man who died. Our other friend, Bryce, wouldn't have a broken back. Okay, what if the word no came out of this young lady's mouth? As I've said from day one, it's your responsibility. 41 years, that's a long time. Some of you guys that are watching this class are 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, or sometimes even older, and that's fine. That's great that you're watching and on board. But just imagine having to be 16 years old, 17 years old, like this young lady. She was smart. Obviously, she's wanting to be go off to college. She obviously was a decent soccer player. Some of you play sports and other activity, extracurricular activity, and that's great. And she had a good family. You could tell the family cared for her. Okay, all this stuff is should play into your mind. Some of you are that way. Some of you have all this stuff going for you, just like this young lady. Okay, just the word no. You know, look at all her friends, all her family members, you know, anyone else. So basically, 41 years, her parents won't see her get out. If they're in their 50s, they'd have to live in their 90s to get to see her get out of the prison. Okay, she won't be able to marry. She probably won't be able to have kids. You know, 59 years old, you're too old to have kids. Okay, so what if she said no? What if all the driver, other driver's friends and family would still have him? All the her best friend, all the school, you saw the school that they attended. All those friends are probably shook up, just like I told you about some other stories that happened at my school. And so there's a lot that could happen the positive way. Unfortunately, it happened the negative way. That they'll, you know, so many people lost loved ones there, even though, you know, just like the other guy, the guy who got paralyzed, he's going to have to learn how to live a new life. You know, he won't be able to walk. I don't know the severity of it, but he won't be able to walk. He won't be able to do a lot of things he's so used to doing. Unfortunately, this young lady, the driver, was drinking and driving, and so the reason I show this video is, as you can see, it's a good reenactment to kind of let students see from start to finish, just like I said earlier. You know, a lot of times you hear in the media and you hear, well, I only had to pay this amount. Remember the lawyer, drunk driving case, and they got a ticket, and the insurance that we talked about earlier, and all this other stuff. But this guy, this video reenactment, I should say, never said anything about tickets and fines and insurance premiums or whatever. That's irrelevant. Now we're talking lives at stake now. Just like the prosecutor, every 15 minutes, that's what this video is called, every 15 minutes. And remember, every 15 minutes someone dies in a car accident due to alcohol. That's kind of the purpose. So please don't let that happen to you. I know that you guys have a lot of life to live. I know your parents don't want that to happen. You don't want to hurt your friends, your neighbors, your family members. So if you're going to drink, please find a way to get home another way. Call Uber, call Lyft, call a cab, call your parents. Speaking from myself, as a dad myself, I would rather pick up my son if he's impaired and bring him home. Yes, I'll be mad at him. Yes, I'll probably he'll have some consequences at home to some extent. Okay, I don't know what those would be, but long story short, he's at home. He's safe. Okay, he's going to wake up tomorrow morning. Whereas, unfortunately, those two sets of parents that we saw, they don't get to say that. They don't get to say that. They're going to forever be traumatized. So please do not drink and drive. Okay? I don't care if there's anything you've heard that glamorizes it. It's not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You saw a little bit how much .08 looks like in those beakers, and that one guy was filming earlier. Okay? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. So please do not drink and drive. Thank you. Oh, today's code for this video, forgot to say, I'm so wrapped up into what I'm saying, sometimes I forget, is LM 2017. Once again, that's LMH, sorry. So it's LMH 2017. Once again, LMH 2017. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.